going on with Seth Rollins. I'm sure we've all seen at Saturday night's main event, Seth Rollins did a little springboard and he injured his knee. And the match was quickly ended, and then he had to be kind of carried out of the arena. So I'm going to discuss what I think happened, and then I'm going to discuss maybe the other possibilities and where we can go from here, if it's a long-term injury or if it's a short-term injury. So if you like this type of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Now let's get started. And I also want to point out that this video is being recorded Tuesday night. So it is after Raw, and we were told that he was supposed to get the injury happened on Saturday. We were told he was supposed to get his MRI on Sunday, and now it's Tuesday night, and we haven't gotten anything on it. So this video may not come out till Thursday or Friday, just because, if we do get a report coming out, then this video is kind of mute. But it's weird because we normally, when injuries and stuff like that happen, we know almost immediately what's wrong. And now we just haven't been told anything. So, like I said, I'll get into what I think actually happened. So this is what I think happened, is I do think Seth Rollins is legitimately injured, but I don't think it's a long-term or major injury. So why do I say I think he's legitimately injured? Well, look at the match itself. There, he does the springboard, and he might even got injured before that, because it looks like he kind of did a little roll and injured himself, and then he did the springboard moonsault, and that really screwed him up. Well, so I say he is legitimately injured because look at how the match ended. He is sitting down in the corner, and you can literally see him tell the ref, hey, tell LA Knight go the finish. And then all of a sudden, Seth stood up, hobbled over, got hit with the BFT, and then was done, and the match was over. And so, to me, that seems like a little bit too much if WWE is, if this is a work. Because, keep in mind, this would have been a huge win for LA Knight. And they're just completely ignoring it, pretending LA Knight never won. And then, all of a sudden, this is a major injury. And if you think that they would want to sell it and kind of show people, hey, look, he's really injured, they would want to show people that Seth is injured and maybe show him getting carried out of the arena. But no, that was fan footage. And I think this is looking into it much, where it's too much 4D chess, where it's well, they plan for Seth to tell the referee to tell LA Knight to go to the finish. Well, they plan not to show him getting carried out on camera, and want fans to record it. And then they plan to kind of ignore LA Knight winning and just have him get out there as quick as possible. I think that's a little bit too much of, like I said, kind of looking into a 4D chess. And then look at the next night on Raw, and why that really showed me why I think it is legitimate. Because Roman Reigns returned. And what you had was, you had the two Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, attacking Jey Uso and CM Punk, and then Roman returned to help them. Well, then all of a sudden, WWE likes to kind of have the equal tandems, and it was like a 2 versus 3, where you had CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso on one side, and then you had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker on the other. Whereas you'd think if this was if let's just say it seems like Seth Rollins was originally planned to be on Monday Night Raw, and it would have been like a 3 versus 3 with Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker against CM Punk, Jey Uso, and Roman Reigns. So that's why I do think it is a legitimate injury. Now, I don't think it is a serious injury, and the reason why I said it is because we've gotten no reports out because of it. And that tells me, okay, it's not that serious, and I think he's cashing in on SummerSlam. I think it just makes too much sense. So what you'll have is, you'll have a huge return pop, huge cash-in pop, and try to make this as unexpected as possible. And the great thing is Seth Rollins doesn't even need to be really healthy to do it. So picture this at SummerSlam. CM Punk beats Gunther, and then CM Punk celebrating with the world title. And then you can have Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come down and beat up CM Punk, and then all Seth Rollins has to do is he doesn't even have to hit a single move. He just needs to be healthy enough to kind of hobble down to the ring, and then just cover CM Punk for the 1, 2, 3, and then celebrate the title. And then all of a sudden with the title, he doesn't have to defend it. He can just kind of sit with it and heal up, because, look at Roman Reigns. He wouldn't defend the title for like 4 months, and then Io Sky went several months without defending the title. So I don't, and John Cena, he's gone a month without defending the title. So I think he is legitimately injured. I don't think it's a bad injury. So I think they can just have him, just like I said, hobble down to the ring and cash in on CM Punk and, build their storyline of, hey, I screwed CM Punk again, because that's kind of his thing where he doesn't even care about winning the title. He just wants to make sure CM Punk doesn't win the title. And so that's why I say it, because it seems really weird to me that if he is seriously injured and if he is going to be out for a long time, they're not telling us and that information's being hidden. So that tells me it's probably not that serious. So now I'm going to go into, well, what if it is a serious injury? So now to me, this is that. So what I just described is what I think is happening in reality, is that he's going to cash in on Punk at SummerSlam, and that he is not he is legitimately injured, but it's not a serious injury. So now what happens if it is a serious long-term injury? I would kind of split apart the faction real quick. I would kind of have Paul Heyman turn on Seth Rollins, and you can do some like kind of quote unquote like legal maneuvering where it's Paul Heyman says, "Oh, I rewrote the contract," or there's some sort of stipulation in Money in the Bank where the contract is no longer with you, it's now with Braun Breaker. That's what I do. I'd get the contract immediately, Money in the Bank contract immediately on Braun Breaker. Or maybe even Seth can be like, hey, I'm injured for a long period of time. I don't want to waste this cash in, so I'm going to give it to Braun. So I think you can do that, and I think that'd be a great idea. So give it to Braun, and then have Braun cash in, be the world champion, and then maybe if you really want to like turn it around, if it depends on when he's like comfortable to return, whether it is at the Rumble or whether it's later, where let's say Seth can win the Rumble, then you have Braun cash in for the title, and then you can do Braun and Seth at Mania. I think that's one solution you can do. Um, and I think that could work where you don't waste the Money in the Bank contract because, like I said, if it is a very serious injury and he's going to be out for close to the year, you probably should get the contract off of him. And you helps build Braun as a new star because that's what the whole point of this is. Braun is using like Seth Rollins as like a mentor to help work his way up and become the next big star. This group is not really for Seth, it's for Braun. And so I know you don't want to break it up that early, but I think that's one solution. And then now let's get into what happens if it is a very short term injury. So if it is short term injury, and what I mean by short term injury, I would say it's about maybe 5 or 6 months off. I would just kind of ignore Seth Rollins. I would pretend he just never exists. I I don't know if I'd split up the group. Honestly, I think I probably would just have like Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed kind of go their separate ways. You can still have Paul Heyman manage Braun Breaker, but what I would do is basically say like, "Hey, Seth is supposed to help teach us and mentor us, and now he's no longer here. So what's the point of this group?" And just kind of have them go their separate ways. And then kind of few months down the line, whatever pay-per-view it is, whether it's Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, or whatever like is kind of pay-per-view that's far enough away where if Seth Rollins can heal up, if it is like I said, like a shorter injury, like maybe a 5 6 month injury, and what I would do is I would have Braun win the world title against whoever it is, whether it's Cody, whether it's Gunther, whether it's Punk, whoever. Just have Braun win the world title. And then I would have the shocking return of Seth Rollins coming back, cashing in on Braun Breaker, and then having the like OMG moment that he is returned, he is cashed in, and he has screwed over the guy he was supposed to mentor. And then you can follow that up with either Braun winning the Rumble or having them just have a match at Mania for the title. I think that works out best. And like I said, I think the original thing is going to happen. I think Seth is going to win the title at SummerSlam, And then I think Braun will probably win the Rumble, and then they'll do a match at Mania. But, anyways, those are my solutions, and that's what I think is really going on. Because, again, it is super weird. Normally, when someone's injured, we get an immediate report on it. Right now, it's Tuesday night, and he had an MRI on Sunday, and we know absolutely nothing. So that tells me clearly they're trying to hide this because I don't think it's that serious. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? And if you like this type of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. If you want my more immediate thoughts on things, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Crawcast, and I'll see you on the next one.